Welcome back, peoples. In this tutorial, we'll be going through how to texture the said UV maps that you've exported from Blender. So if you've seen my previous tutorials, you would know that we created a model from scratch. We made texture maps from them and we exported them as PNG file formats. What we're going to do now is we're going to import them into Photoshop and we're going to make the textures, and then we're going to import those textures back into Blender and make our keyblade look super pretty. Alright then. So let's start off by File, Open. You want to open your reference image first. So that's the image we want, and why we have this open is because we want to use it as a as a reference for color reference. I'm gonna close this. And yes, I suppose so. What? There we go. Then we've got File, Open, we've got Texture 1, Texture 2. Let's open both of those. Now if you recall, Texture 1 basically is the first texture map. We had the hilt, we had the handle, we had the hilt part, we had the funny shoulder thingy, the buttons, and we had the hook at the bottom. Texture 2, we had the visor, the windows, which are these parts, the blade, the king teeth thingy, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put color into these. So we're going to add a bit of life into our lifeless grey 3D model. Alright, so let's start with texture 1 and work our way through each of the models individually. Okay? Alright, so let's start off with the handle part, this part first. So what you'll notice immediately is we have a layer 0. This is going to be our master layer. So I'm going to call it master layer. That was not a Star Wars reference, just so you know. Not a Star Wars reference. Hit new down the bottom and you'll see layer 1. Now layer 1, I want layer 1 to be under master, and the reason for that is because when you paint things like so, you can see where you're painting and what parts you're painting. If you put it over the top, you cover it and you can't, well, you can still see it, but imagine if you had like this whole part was covered, then you won't be able to see it, right? So if you have it under it, you can roughly see where in the map you're doing. So I'm going to delete everything, go back to the reference and have a look. So we're doing this part now. So it's a nice crisscrossy shape, as you can see. But more importantly, we want to get the color aspect. So that's one there. Click that to go to the secondary palette, and then now you have two colors. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to add a color here. So make sure you're in layer 1. Whoops, layer 1. I'm just going to quickly, I mean, if you have experience with Photoshop, then really you don't need this guide. I mean, you could probably just do it with your eyes closed. Well, maybe not your eyes closed, but you know, you get what I mean. Alright, so that's part 1. Done. I'm not that great at texturing, just so you know. Those who know me and know my models would know that I'm not great at texturing, so. Time for these button parts. So we'll take the brightest color, followed by the darkest color. I don't like that color. Let's go for this one. I mean, it has to be dark, but not too dark, so just a few shades different, I guess. Alright. So, brighter color on the back. So create another layer under the first layer. Highlight the parts where you want it to be yellow. Let's make it here. I mean, it's not a problem to go over the lines. So you can color out of the model lines. It's okay. The reason for that is because Blender only takes into account what's inside the nets. It doesn't care what's outside the nets. So if you go out of bounds, it's all okay. All right. So we've done that part, and then now we're gonna add shading to it. So I created another layer. It's important in Photoshop to keep creating layers so that if you make a mistake, you don't have to start from the beginning again. You can just, you know, delete a layer, etc. Alright, so 32 on 4. What's that? 8? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, I should do the other way, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we'll do like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Filler, no, select, refine edge. We want to feather it. Let's put in 15. Okay, we'll use 15 for now. And we'll just use the brush, make it soft, and color in as you see fit. Coloring in. There we go. Alright. I'll just copy that, so click, drag, copy, and you can just drag it to other places. I know, I'm being lazy, but meh. Drag. Alright, so you can also join these three together by going Control E, so it makes them all into one layer. And then I'm going to make it slightly transparent, because I mean the color is too strong, right? Look at that orange. I mean in the original it's pretty strong, but I mean for our cases we just make it a bit more lighter. I mean it's up to you, your personal preference, if you'd like it a bit more stronger, a bit lighter, but you know, I think 88 is okay. Alright, so we've completed that part, we've made this part, now we're going to do this part. It's the handle part. I noticed that the edges here were lighter as well. I don't know if I should add that in or not. But anyway, I'll still take a sample of the color, just in case if we need it for later. It's a very nice bright shade. Okay, so what are we doing here? Make a new layer. We're gonna try and color this in now. I'm gonna use the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to just make random shapes as long as it's within. Alright, filter, no, not filter. Refine edge. Go to feather. Let's put feather 5. And I'm gonna use this deep orange color. Okay, there we go. It looks pretty ugly for now. I think so. But hopefully it gets better soon. So just rinse and repeat. I mean, when making textures, the best thing about making textures is really you can be as creative as you want. Make a new layer. Actually, we'll make this a bit lighter first. It's too strong. Switch colors, and on your new layer, make sure your feather is make sure your hardness is 0. Make your size reasonably large, and then you can just do that. It's okay to color out of bounds, because remember, Blender doesn't take into account anything that's not within the texture nets. Yeah. Okay. So that's what roughly it might look like. I think it's a bit too strong. Let's turn it down a bit. I just want it to be a bit of a mellow color. Like to mellow down, to soften down a bit, not too strong. Yeah, that looks good. That looks great. Scroll out. Yeeks, that looks a bit too strong. There we go. All good? Oh good. As for this part, I realized that because the outer part, the perimeter, is a bit of a lighter shade. We might want to make this color a bit different. So let's do that. I will highlight, contiguous, highlight this part, and paint it on a different layer, and then I will check to see. It's 58, so let's make 58 too. 58. There we go. So the color should meld in. Hopefully meld in. I don't know what color it would be. And the same goes for that too, so we need to... You see how it's coming out, so we're going to lift it in front. There we go. Alrighty, so now all that's left is the buttons and the shoulder thingy and the hook at the bottom. So let's do the buttons now, since they look easy to make, look easy to color in. Zoom out. Take a color sample, so we'll take this grey, and that looks like black. Grey and black, and we can do the white later, so it's not a big problem. Move it down to the lowest level, and then you can color it grey. Use your brush, change the hardness to 0, make the size reasonable, and then put in a black dot if you like. Let me see. Commit the crime of not using a new layer. Yeah, I think it looks okay. Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. Looks okay, I think. It looks okay. Now for this part. And this part. No, let's do this part first. Get a color sample. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. But I'll make it a bit more, I'll make it less strong. So it just looks like a gentle reflection of metal rather than like a huge streak. And all that's left is this part. So make it the last layer, come on. Oops, I'll lift you up then. Alright, so what color is it? It's a nice lovely aqua blue. Deep shade, light shade. Let's make the deep shade the main. And there we go. And we'll add the light shades afterwards. What am I doing? Okay. So we just have a look at the pattern. So the outer parts followed by the inner parts. Okay, so the outer parts, which are these parts. It's too big. Too big. So the outer parts followed by the inner parts. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not very good at photoshopping, so if you can make better textures, by all means. I'm just doing enough, what's enough to get by. I mean, that of course looks way prettier than what I've done. I'm sorry I killed your artwork. Oops. And it's a bit darker here as well, I think. Right. I don't know. Let's make it look special. A bit more special. So what I tend to do is I tend to do this. And what it looks like afterwards is that it looks like it's got a crease. Anyway, it doesn't look like much now on Photoshop, but when you import it into Blender, it should look better, I hope. So remember the file, save it as something, I don't know, call it whatever, texture 1. Okay, and you can save a web later afterwards. So to export it as a PNG, you go to File, Save for Web and Devices, and you hit Save, and you'll save it as a PNG. Transparency, I don't know, up to you. Interlaced, yeah. PNG24 is preferred though, because it has a higher quality of color. Just so you know, this is not quite done yet. We have to add like a texturing to it, like a metal texture or a fabric texture, etc. So I hope you stick around for that part. We're gonna do texture 2 in a moment. Alright? So I'll see you then. Bye.